Irene Petrinos. And it's England who get things started, playing in their darker strip with Canada in the red, and it's going to be an early carry for Hannah Bottoman. Comes through Harrison, holds it up for Atwood. It's just been a little knock-on the floor. If you want to keep in touch with us over the course of the game, hashtag send her victorious, as England Women's Red Roses look to garner the support through social media as they build up over the course of the next few years to 2021. Send her victorious if you want to keep in touch with us. Little first look at the scrum then, and it's held well by Canada. Cindy Nellis with the first carry from the back, now away from Brianna Miller down the right hand side again. Anais Holly coming onto the ball, but it's with Sarah McKenna in from the Sevens programme, of course. Then plays off to the right. Millie Wood earning her 4th cap for England, the Gloucester Hartpury player, out on the wing. And Sarah Hunter getting involved, uncharacteristically shipping the ball on and not taking it into contact. Great to see the options available to the England captain. Canada come back. It's not the greatest kick, it's gone lateral if it's gone anywhere, and really well fielded by Abby Scott. Captained aside against the USA last week. And just over the halfway line, Leanne Riley wants quicker ball, and they could have some numbers down this channel if they could make it work. It didn't quite go to hand. Kelly Smith has had to work pretty hard to get back there, but she's done well, and it's away from Riley onto Packer. Will always carry and make yards for you, Marley Packer. But in fact, just as I say that, commentator's curse, penalty is given away.
Yeah, I'm honestly not sure what that one's for. Tackled to ground, so potentially coming in off the ball. But loving the intent from both teams at the minute. Defensively, the Canada line is so good, filling the field. Both teams are looking to kick and have found some good space in behind as well. So looking forward to seeing some running rugby from the back threes today.
Yeah, chatting to Sandra Fiorino ahead of the game. He was mentioning that there's a lot of strength in the Canadian front three and there's a lot of strength in the Canadian back three. So 2 areas of the field they're hoping to impress. Through 9 to 15, incidentally, there's a fully French theme. They all play in the Nationals for the Quebec region, so they could all be talking French this afternoon just to keep the English away from whatever they've got planned. But first line out for Laura Russell, most experienced one in the side, and then away from Miller. And it's crash ball for Dalika Menin. Plays her rugby at Calgary Hornets. The 23-year-old has done a decent job there. Then on the run around, it's Anais Holly again, and a chance of a run from Alex Tessier, and that's a decent outside line from the inside centre. Good possession from Canada in the 22, but if England managed to force the turnover there, Bottoman was in there in a decent position but wasn't quite able to effect it. Now it's loose, but it's gone backwards, but England were the first to snaffle on it. Vicky Cornborough not wasting any time, and then Kath O'Donnell, solid carry from the Loughborough second row. Ball is available, but referee Sean Gallagher tells Canada that they're not allowed to get in on it yet. Rachel Burford is in at first receiver. Slips it away. Oh, that's really good through the hands from Cornborough onto Lucy Atwood. England showing some great continuity here from Marley Packer to get Millie Wood out on the outside. Canada doing their best to use the touchline to help, but Wood's done a superb job of keeping that in field, and unfortunate for Abby Scott that she just couldn't quite hold it. Referee will play a knock-on advantage, but the clearance kick wasn't in any way good enough. So we will come back for the scrum, but bright moment through the hands from England.
Yeah, ferocious start, absolutely brilliant, and the offloading skills, but not only that, the ability of Sarah McKenna to see the space and instead of carrying on running forward, just to pull it back and get Marley Packer into the game. Absolutely fab.
Yeah, great to see Millie Wood on the ball as well. She is more comfortable at 13. She played a lot more rugby at 13, but what she will give you is she will run hard and she will run strong. Great to see her flying down the wing there, and as you say, really tough to stay in field in situations like that, so for England to keep hold of the ball is great stuff.
So Canadian scrum, very much similar area of the field to we saw the first one. England are defending this a little narrowly. No doubt looking for line speed to try and get up in their faces, and Rachel Burford's trying to use that. And well, they've gone round the corner of the scrum and knocked referee Sean Gallagher to his backside.
Welcome to the game, Sean.
Yeah.
The crowd, that's the biggest cheer we've heard all morning. The crowd are absolutely loving that one.
I mean, you see it in the men's game. Wonderful, wonderful. Absolutely love that.
Notice how he's standing on the opposite side of the scrum now. That's not happening again.
He's learned a lesson there, hasn't he? It's always, it must be lovely for your masculinity when a female rugby player tells me, "You're all right there, love." Fantastic. They might not have said it as camp as I just did, but anyway, we continue. Canada with possession. They were right up there with England in that World Cup. Of course, they beat them in the pool stages in 2014. They were at the height of their powers probably at that stage. Disappointing perhaps in the 2017 Rugby World Cup. For the sake of the women's game, it would be great to see them reattain a bit more of that power that they had a couple of years ago, and well, bringing the likes of Allery and Harvey into the game, or back into the game after a bit of time out, might just help bring a bit more stability. That's a little bit messy from England. Wasn't the greatest ball away from Leanne Riley, and difficult pickup.
Yeah, it is a difficult pickup. It's really interesting. Not always something we see from the North American sides is that Canada seem to be kicking the ball a lot in this game so far. Obviously, you know, there's 6 minutes gone, but they seem to have shown their hand a little bit in terms of Anaïs Holly sitting herself back in the pocket. They clearly don't want to be bogged down and let England put them under pressure in their own half, and they're really looking to clear the ball. They've just got to probably try and put a little bit more on it.
Bind. Set.
Canada breaking from the scrum. Oh, it's a nice little bit of footwork from Allery. Played 25 internationals for Canada, this her 26th. Game management will be one of the areas where the experience will be handy for the Canadians. Showing equal footwork to the opposite 15 is Sarah McKenna, and this is decent turnover. Atwood with a little look infield and then cuts it back, and Burford under pressure from Harvey.
Classic nine play that.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic nine play. Referee might get a bit annoyed with it, but it works every time. When there's a lazy defender coming back onside, little throw into them to make them know that they're offside always gets you a penalty. Good game management from Leanne Riley, as you just mentioned.
I think also what it proves is, doesn't it, that England clearly want to play a fast game. They're clearly here to move the ball. They're clearly here to get the ball in and out of that ruck as quickly as possible. And you know, we can call that whatever we want, but that's the intent that England are trying to show by doing that.
Yeah, definitely. It's so frustrating as a scrum half when you just can't get the ball out. You're ready to play and there's opposition players in the way of that channel. So smart play, well handled by Leanne.
Yeah, certainly did her best to get the penalty, but ultimately, yeah, I agree. I think she was just wanting to play as well, wasn't she? England bring it down from the line out then. Riley pointing out to the assistant on the near side where the Canadians are in. She's going to have to try and remove them herself.
Advantage black.
Pulls Tyson Bukaboom out of the way. It's a penalty advantage already being played. So what's the call going to be from Zoe Harrison? They've got Kelly Smith down on the left side. Spilled by England, couldn't take the advantage. So we will come back for the penalty. Now, there was no debate from England when they played the USA about going for the posts or going for the corner, and they've similarly started in the same fashion. And as much as test match wins are important, and I'm not suggesting that there shouldn't be a bit of game management, but I think at this point of a World Cup cycle, the team should be encouraged to play a bit.
Yeah, definitely. And as Skaz mentioned earlier, England have a real intent at the moment. They're playing such quick ball. Granted, they've let themselves down a little bit with a couple of easy knock-ons, but they want to play the game, and this is just proving it now.
Taken down by Abby Scott. England looking to get this catch and drive going. Can the Canadian front row do enough to deny it? But no, they can't. The ball is down, and England have their first try. And is it Marley Packer? Just trying to see who it is, who's come up with it. Or even Lark Davis.
Two really good setups on the drives from England. Really quick to get around the ball. Ball transfer has been slick straight to the back, which has created a penalty off the first one. The Canadians swinging around the sides, and this one there's just no stopping them. Low body angles, driving through. Brilliant finish. I imagine it would be Lark Davis if they've set their maul up as they normally do, but wouldn't be surprised if Marley Packer also had wrestled that ball off her, so
yeah,
could be either.
I think it may have been Lark Davis. We'll say that Lark has got it for now, and await further news on that. Conversion goes wide. Another chance to look at this. There's the ball hitting the deck. Yeah, Davis, the scorer. So 5-0, England with the lead. Sarah Hunter calls for it from the kick receipt. Riley to Packer. Attracts 3 Canadian red shirts to bring her down. Does Marley Packer, such as her threat? Title winner in the inaugural Tyrrell's Premier 15s last season. It's just a little bit loose. Is there a chance for Canada to try and jump on this? There is. And it's away from Miller. And they put the kick through, and Magali Harvey will give chase. Kelly Smith under an awful lot of pressure. Have England got the support there in time?
Ball is still in the rock, you're offside. Ball is still in the rock.
The referee has penalised Cindy Nellis there, who saw the ball squirting out. Thought it was a chance to put the boot in and chase it up around the fringes, but she's been penalised.
Yeah, lovely little option initially to thread the ball through. Brilliant chase from Canada. And again, really good intent from them, showing their different skill set at the minute. Big hard carries, but also the ability to just poke it through in the 22 as well. Such a difficult ball to defend.
Elisa Allery with another good carry, but it's loose on the floor, and Hannah Bottoman kicks it through. Marley Packer is streaking after this as well. Oh, straight in on the floor. The referee momentarily put his whistle to his mouth, but I think he's opting for play on. Marley Packer's just stayed down momentarily out of your shot, but Sarah McKenna will kick into the corner, looking for that ball to bobble and cause Canada a problem or two. It's getting very close into that corner. What a kick that's turned into for Sarah McKenna. Brilliant vision of the space, and sends Canada turning back to their own line.
Fantastic kick that was, wasn't it? It's what you want at all good fullbacks. You get so much ball in that backfield. Pick your head up. What's the option? As we just watched Marley Packer, brave as ever, trying to dive on those loose balls. Let's hope that she's all right. But yeah, fantastic kick by Sarah McKenna. Picks her head up, sees that space, and you know that's exactly what I imagine the England forwards that picking their heads up out of those rucks want to see. Is they're now defending the line out on the Canadian 5 metre line.
Yeah, brilliant. We've mentioned the game management a few times, and it doesn't just come down to the 9-10 that everyone stereotypically thinks. Also, players that can kick in the backfield. Lucy Atwood's a good kicker of the ball. Sarah McKenna obviously pinning those corners. Without someone like Katie Daly-McLean potentially pulling the strings, it's so important that players like that step up and also play England into the right spaces where their forwards can attack.
Back, please. Keep the space.
So Canada with some defending to do in this area of the fields.
Space back. Space. Step 5. 5. Step.
Marley Packer back into things, earning her 60th cap this afternoon.
Hold your bind.
Well, Canada have done really well here. Straight down the blind side they go. Just lost it forwards in the end. Just goes into touch. That was a nice move from the visitors. Did a really good job of relieving that pressure by keeping ball in hand rather than necessarily looking for the option to clear the lines.
It's a good mix-up from Canada. I think we spoke really early doors in the game that they seem to be kicking a little more than perhaps we, originally seen. England backfield, then they're sat, they're waiting for it. So pick off the short side, great option.
England coming forward through Poppy Cleal. Play it out to Cornborough. Oh, it's just a drop from Sarah McKenna. Vicky Cornborough linking up brilliantly in the back line several times already in the game so far. We name-checked Graham Smith earlier. I think we need to name-check Gary Street, who is quite keen to remind me that England women drew with Canada in their pool stages. And someone kicked the ball out while the scores were all square. Is that right, Natasha Hunt?
Yeah, it was 13-all, I believe. And we were going into their 22, but we were under so much pressure for about 15-20 minutes that I just thought they were more likely to score than we were, and we'd already done enough to go through, so I was like, no, enough of this, I'm just getting rid of the ball.
I like the fact you're still justifying it.
Yeah.
It's always good when you scrum half back to you as well, isn't it?
Thanks for bringing it up, Streety. Anyway,
yeah.
Apologies for the slight error earlier. It was a draw. Anyway, Canada with possession. Kicked away from Anais Holly. McKenna in the backfield. Oh, that was a big hit.
Not above the horizontal.
Ref says it wasn't above the horizontal. Sarah Hunter then stepping off the right boot, accompanied by Packer. Harrison, she's under real pressure in that 10 channel, but that's a good line from Bottoman, and Bottoman stepping back inside. Hannah Bottoman still going and eating up the yards. Potential future of England's front row right there, and looking so mobile as well. England get the penalty as Canada try and use hands to wrestle the ball back. But what a run from the Saracens prop.
Exactly what Skaz spoke about in the pre-match. Hannah Bottoman, I'm not sure about her scrummage in, as Skaz said, but she's so good ball in hand. As she broke through the first tackle, I was thinking, look, Pop is on your shoulder, Pop is on your shoulder, but you don't need to look when you're going to break 3 or 4 tackles like that. Brilliant run by her, and such a shame that Canada just managed to stifle that because there was so much space on the wing for Kelly Smith. She'd have been in under the sticks.
Yeah, you could argue that's a really smart penalty to give away, couldn't you, from Canada? There's so much space on this left-hand side. Could it have been a cynical one, yellow card? Not sure, question mark. But,
yeah, it's a good point. Look, Canada have got the line out right again, and they're breaking up to the edge of the 22. They've dealt with those defensive situations really well when they've had those line outs, areas that England are so used to spoiling. Clearance is made. Good take from Millie Wood. Just settling into that position on the wing. More often a centre, as Emily Scarrett says with Gloucester Hartpury. Harrison. Oh, look for the low pass. Nearly intercepted from Alex Tessier. Well, it was, but she dropped it. Just seems to be a little half-second longer that Harrison's taking to get that ball out to the back line at the minute, which is allowing Canada to get on top of England.
Yeah, it's fine to take that half-second, but she needs to just take a slightly more depth if she's going to do that, because I think they've read it twice really well. They're just coming through and they're trying to pick off that pass. I think that's the second time that Canada have gone for that intercept, so something they've probably spoken about pre-match. England, for me, just need to, everyone just take slightly more depth so that Zoe can do that. She's got time to then pull the pass back if she wants to play that flat to the line. But at the minute, neither of the options are really working.
Set.
Good position for England here.
Stay 9.
And they've got Harrison on the left here with Burford and Atwood. And Harrison's gone for the chip through. Burford steaming through as well. They were 3-1 here, England against Harvey. But Harvey's done really well. She was 3-1 against.
Yeah, we know all about her pace. Brilliant option from England, though. Absolutely fantastic. Just nudging it in behind. All the pressure is on Canada, and it results in an England scrum 5 metres out. We've seen their forward dominance already in the maul. Let's see if we've got... Imagine Sarah Hunter that she's just going for a pushover on this one.
You would imagine that might well be the case.
Love to know her try stat for pushover to normal tries.
Yeah, that's true.
So good at the back of the scrum, though. It's such a difficult skill, and I actually used to live with Sarah Hunter. She used to be my housemate, and the amount of time she'd go around the living room just practicing dribbling a little football.
There you go. Practice makes perfect.
There you go.
Well, Kelly Smith nearly gave the game plan away, running across from the right-hand side, down back to her left wing channel. She arrived a little early, but England won't mind. They've still maintained possession, and they go straight through. Is it try number 2? It is. But certainly in this area of the game, England are really dominant. That loose opportunity to get a drive on, and they get try number 2. Is it Abby Scott who scored it?
Yeah, we see it here now. Really good initial setup. You can see how low the English players are. 3 people around the ball so that everyone can drive the momentum of the other player. I think Abby Scott's just kind of helping. I'm not sure who's on the floor underneath her, but I think Abby Scott was the one that added the initial power and the additional power to get her over the line. Potentially Lark Davis again if our cameramen are on it.
Our monitor's in the sunshine at the minute, so not quite got a clear view of who put that one down. But Lucy Atwood to try and add 2 points. Another close effort. Doesn't quite work out. Another look at the try. Second one for England. It is Lark Davis confirmed. England leading 10 points to 0. Kelly Smith just had a little look at, see if anyone else wanted it, but opted in the end to take it. Burford on a little line in field, and the clearance kick. It's just touched the whitewash. That was really nicely done from Lucy Atwood. Been in the pathway. She's been playing well together at Bristol alongside Phoebe Murray.
Yeah, she's been playing really well at Bristol, and what she gives you is that left-footed option. So when exiting, England did a much better job of that one than they did after the previous try. But it's really simple things. You've got Zoe Harrison on the right-hand side, Lucy Atwood on the left, right foot, left foot. Both got very, very good, competent kicking game. So it's just it's a really easy way to relieve pressure.
Voice of Emily Scarrett, who is alongside Natasha Hunt in our co-commentary this afternoon. We hope you're enjoying our coverage on englandrugby.com, on the Facebook page and YouTube channels. We're also, you may be watching us live through the Sky Sports Rugby Facebook page as well. Great to have your company. We are at Doncaster Castle Park, home of the Doncaster Knights. England leading by 10 points to 0. Abby Scott in that tackle, trying to rip the ball away. Got herself in a great position to get the penalty. That's superb work from the Harlequin.
Brilliant play, and it just shows how good a good exit is. Obviously England, no pressure in their own half. They're defending on their 10-metre line. They're able to go that little bit more, just test the boundaries, because they've got so much building behind them, and a fantastic turnover as well. Down towards the 22 now, so a great attacking option.
Yes, I'm pitch side here with Lydia Thompson. Lydia, a couple of tries for England, a really bright start. What have you made of them so far?
Really clinical. I think we've just gone out there, we've followed what we needed to do. It's been lovely to see Zoe working the forwards, getting the game going. It's been great to see McKenna bossing it at the back and fielding a lot of challenging balls that Canada have been given to us. I think it's been fantastic to see us stick to what we need to do and carry it out.
You're right in the heart of this crowd today, really getting behind the team, aren't they? Making a lot of noise.
It's been brilliant. I think it's nice to come somewhere fresh, to get loads of fans down. It's been brilliant. The kids have been supporting and cheering for the girls, and I think it makes such a good atmosphere for us to play in front of these sort of crowds.
Lydia Thompson, thank you very much.
Thank you.
What a legend she is.
Good old Lydia Thompson. Scored a couple of worldies in her time. Marley Packer has provided quite a few, and she nearly did so again for Kelly Smith. England building again. Bottoman. Good tackle from Slavinsky. Harrison on for Cleo.
Off your feet, 15, leave it. First action.
England get the penalty, and the referee is just going to have a moment here.
Just captain. There's quite a lot of penalties in different areas of the game.
So Sean Gallagher.
15 went off the feet to coach here, and then the next player in took the scrum half before they had the ball. Now there's no big issue at the moment, but I just wanted to have a word with them and tell them.
Well, Gallagher pointing out that Allery
generally around.
is one of those giving penalties away.
Just give it 1 second.
And then other players going in and taking players off the ball. So Canada need to be wary in this area of the field.
Yeah, they really do. But England's attack at the moment is relentless for me from their forwards. You've got people like Bottoman, Cleo, Packer, Hunter carrying wave after wave. It's so difficult to defend. The Canadians are really stepping up and they're really putting their bodies on the line, but it is just so hard to keep getting up and keep facing massive ball carriers like that.
England from the penalty will look to build again. And if you're Lark Davis, you've got to be eyeing up a hat-trick inside half an hour, haven't you? Gets the ball in. And then straight in she rejoins at the back, alongside Bottoman. And Cornborough as well. Leanne Riley wants to try and keep them going. They do break a little. Canada desperately trying to defend this. Riley doing really well to move Kath O'Donnell around. Try and move it. There's a penalty advantage coming. Oh, the try has been scored. In there again. The forwards' effort is just what the doctor ordered for England. And it's Poppy Cleal this time.
I'm not going to comment too much on the rolling ball, but England are very good at it, very competent at that. You know, they'll have been practicing that all week with Blaze. But it just comes from, you know, Natasha talked about it earlier, just that pressure. But it's probably one of the first periods of time that England have really kept the ball. They've gone through the phases and they've just squeezed Canada. And at the moment, they're breaking through penalties, kick to the corner, driving line out, and it's very you know, it's drills then for England. It's something that they practiced all week.
But if you're Lucy Atwood at 13, you're going, can we have a go, please?
Yeah. Well, I saw Kelly Smith over on this left-hand side in acres of space, waving her arm, and I was thinking, yeah, I'd be doing exactly the same, but I don't think you're going to get the ball. It's one of those, isn't it? You know, you can always see so many different pictures in the game of rugby, but you know, when the forwards are having such success from that, they're going to keep doing it.
Conversion was missed, so England leading by 15 points to 0. Gone for a shorter line this time to allow a bit of competition for it, but Magali Harvey just knocking it on. Riley off to the right. Packer is the first to have a go. Riley again just takes a couple of paces for Burford. Cleo knew she was going to be hit with the ball there. Harvey's a little bit frustrated by it.
It's a great fizz pass from Rachel Burford, but again, I'm not sure it's necessary in that moment. There's just putting pressure on them. I see why she's done it. There's loads of space there, but Cleo just needs to not get as excited, hold her depth. Then she's got time to get that through the hand. She's such a quality player that pass would be easy 9 times out of 10. Brilliant spot tackle though by Harvey coming out of the line and making that hit, because otherwise it was a 2-on-1 and Kelly Smith would be screaming down that wing.
Magali Harvey, top point scorer for Canada. Now they look to go down the blind side. with Cindy Nellis. Civil engineer by trade. England are trying to force Canada into touch here, but they're coming at the side in order to do so. So referee Gallagher is going to send England 6, 7 and 8 back. Now what's the call going to be here? 3 tries down on the score sheet. So it's for Tessier to try and put it into the corner and see with possession what the front 8 of Canada can do. Didn't get too many yards on that kick down the touchline. Russell goes to the back pod. Oh, it's not been held. Lark Davis takes it down. High tackle came at her from behind, so there's a penalty advantage being played to England. They'd probably quite like the chance to run it and use it. It's a lovely slip of the ball from Kath O'Donnell. Cleal, Harrison. Advantage just called over, so Elisa Rallery takes hold of it. Pumps it back from whence it came. Back in field for Harrison, who shaped momentarily to kick, but saw that Rallery was right on top of her. Sarah Hunter straight and low into her opposite number, Nellis. Davis gets the hands away to Abby Scott. Atwood is out on the left calling it. She's going to be first receiver here. Atwood then looks to put it through off the left peg. It was nearly handled by Magali Harvey, but it just came off her fingertips. Looks like she might have slimmed down ever so slightly, Magali Harvey, from how she looked a couple of years ago.
Yeah, we've not seen her on the international stage for a little while. Obviously came to life in that 2014 World Cup and has been, you know, in the 15s game, in the 7s game, around a lot in terms of Canadian women's rugby. So, you know, it's great to see her back here in England playing, you know, the way that she does. Very, very fast on the ball. I wouldn't want to be chasing her down or trying to fight for a kick chase with her. But yeah, great to see her back out here. England now will be really looking to get a grip of this last 10 or so minutes of this game, playing again in the right areas of the field as Lucy Atwood was just trying to do there, but making sure that Canada can't put any pressure on them just before the half.
England's third try, scored by Poppy Cleal. Picking and going well. Richard Blaze, of course, the man who's looking after the forwards effort now, following Matt Ferguson's departure. Talking to Simon Middleton during the week about the likes of Shauna Brown, who's on the bench, who of course has played in the back row at Harlequins but is being morphed into a bit more of a front row forward, being more of that athletic mobile type of prop. Keen to point out to me that Matt Ferguson has already been shaping players like that, like Sarah Byrne previously, so it's nothing new. Riley. Burford has waited on the left side and Bottoman has joined in support, but Burford goes for the missed pass to find Kelly Smith. Smith well tackled by Slavinsky. Riley.
Leave it now, Red, leave it!
Well, it really looked like that might have been coming back on the Canada side, but referees told them to get out. Wasn't the most sympathetic of passes from Kath O'Donnell to Marley Packer, and Canada have managed to hold on to it, and they fling it out to the left-hand side. And can they send Sabrina Poulin away? England look to try and drive them back in the tackle with Cleal. But Canada, well, they're penalised. Felt like it was coming back on their side. Alex Tessier's just taken a knee for a moment. But England win the penalty in the tackle situation. And Canada must, well, they're struggling a little bit with or without the ball.
Yeah, they are, which is quite interesting for me, because when you look at them without the ball, defensively they are so set. They've got really good width and they're making their tackles. I think it's just the relentless nature of England coming wave after wave after wave that they're struggling to deal with. Conversely, in attack, they've got really good width again. They look like they're ready to go all of the time. They're mixing it up nicely between a kicking and a passing game. I'd like to see them keep more ball in hand now, because I think England are coming quite narrow in defence and actually sat waiting for the kick.
Ball comes to the back to Cleal. They're getting it to march forwards.
7.
Burford, Atwood, McKenna and co are wondering if they're going to see this. They're looking in
Once 9, that's once.
to Riley. Packer has it. Gallagher's already told her one opportunity as the maul slowed down, but then a few Canadians peel away.
Here's at 9.
Well, in fact, Canada now get a bit of a counter shove on it, but it will come out to the back line. And Atwood, tackled by Tessier. Advantage being played as it's lost forwards, and the kick comes from Miller and clears the lines. Well, be frustration from Atwood not to have been able to hold on to that.
Yeah, it will be, and it comes from what looked, again, not trying to comment on something I don't know a huge amount about, but a much better, more defence from the Canadian side. England weren't able to, they got a little bit of a shove on, they got a little bit of a rumble on, but they weren't able to sustain that pressure, and meaning England had to use the ball, and then, you know, Lucy Atwood, that's a really tough line running into 3 big, strong Canadian players.
Marley Packer is just going to do that and finds Poppy Cleal, but it was just lost forward between 7 and 6 there. Canada will have the scrum. No Karen Paquin, Kelly Russell, Andrea Burke, Mandy Marchak. These, of course, some of the names that you may recall from Canada in the recent past. Players no longer involved, retired.
Yeah, big names, but also great girls. I'm sure they'll be supporting and watching the live stream.
5 Rugby World Cup players from 2014 involved, 4 from that final. 3 debutants starting today for Canada.
Wait.
Gabby Senft, the Canadian flanker, number 6, one of those. And there's Brianna Miller, the 27-year-old scrum half. High school teacher, made her debut against England a couple of years ago. Plays her rugby at the St Anne de Bellevue club.
No push.
Sunshine is really low in exactly the direction that England are heading, almost pretty much between the posts as they look downfield. Not easy to see on a low kicking game. Canada opt to go through the hands to begin with, though. Atwood is held. Wasn't the easiest of passes for Harvey to take. She couldn't quite get away from Kelly Smith, who marshalled to her well.
8, move.
Sarah Hunter told to roll away.
No hands.
Carry was from Bookaboom. Cousin Brett has played a fair bit of rugby in this country, in the championship and on this ground. McKenna. He was well tackled by Allery. Penalty, Canada. That was really well worked from the visitors. First up tackle from vice-captain Elisa Allery. And then teammates straight in to try and win the ball. So that'll give them a bit of heart. Just, well, need a bit more territory to go with it.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen Canada string a few phrases together and looking really sharp. As I said before, they look like they're set to go. They look like they're really, really aware of what they're trying to do as a team. So it's just a matter of time before they can string those phases together, keep hold of the ball, and obviously get rid of those Jacqueline English players. And I'm sure they'll be able to pull something quite special out of the bag.
Tessier got that kick into the corner. Harvey comes in off the wing.
That was back.
Packer had identified the problem, dealt with it well. Bookaboom onto Russell. Away again from Miller. Now they're looking to try and put a bit of width on it through Tessier once more. Allery, man on ball tackle. England will have the scrum.
Good pressure again from the English line. That it's clear that they want to get off the line. They want to go and make shots. Millie Wood there coming in and making a shot on, I think it was the 15, so leaving the winger, letting the, Sarah McKenna fullback come round and take the winger. It shows a good intent from England. They want to go and get in their face, and you know it's paid dividends there because England have now got the scrum.
Yeah, also love that bit of skill from Holly at 10 for Canada. brilliant catch. It absolutely fizzed it, missed pass out, and that is such a difficult thing to do in the face of a defence. The speed at which she transferred that ball, brilliant. So I'd love to see her getting more hands on the ball and then Canada looking to play rather than looking to kick in the second half.
There's too much movement. There's too much movement. Okay. Crouch! Bind!
Riley
Set!
opened the scoring last week for England. Gets it away, Hunter plays it away. Solid run off the right wing from Wood. He's had a decent first half. Quick ball again. England might have a bit of width here if they could use it. Harvey was up and had 2 or 3 players to mark. Well, that's a brilliant throw of the dummy from Allery. Sold a couple of England defenders there. Bought herself just a bit more time. Not the easiest of passes from Bukaboom, though. That was a little bit soft. Didn't allow anyone to come onto that with too much. Anais Holly trying to keep things ticking over. Still very much in their own half here, though, Canada. Kick is sent downfield. It's going to have to bounce. And the chase is on. Oh, and it was well taken from Tessier, which has won it back for Canada with the penalty as well. Now it's away, Bukaboom. Given the shout on the outside from Harvey, who was almost through the gap herself. Harvey loitering back on the inside. Can Slavinsky find her with the ball? They've certainly got it to Thibault. The club do it for Quebec, outside centre. Brighter spell from Canada. Miller trying to keep it ticking over. Has options on the short side. Now they go open. Through Tessier onto Russell.
Not on the ball.
Centre of the park. They've made some decent yards as well, Canada. Can they get any points to show for it in this first half before the break? Bukaboom straightens. Takes 3 England defenders with her, but as she got herself isolated, clear out was just good enough and just in time. Canada go again. It's a really good drive. Tessier again involved in some of the good stuff that they've done. Ball back in field, really good support line from Olivia de Merchant. Up to 5 metres out now. Canada's clearest and best chance of the game, this. Away for Nellis. And then Menin. Delika Menin. Tackled by...
Advantage red.
Well, it's going to be a penalty against Marley Packer for not releasing on the floor.
Now advantage red.
The advantage is being played. Do they want the whistle, or are they going to try and play this? Off to the right again. They've gone for the little chip through. Allery gives chase. It's well picked out of the air by Kelly Smith, but we will come back for the penalty. Great spell from the visitors.
Really, really impressive spell. Like I've been saying, I just want them to hold on to the ball, put a few phases together. They went wide, they came through the middle, they offloaded. They're showing their skills at the minute, Canada. They're showing that they've got a variation in their game, and when they get it right, when they can keep hold of the ball, it looks absolutely brilliant. Harvey, I think she should have just dropped the hammer when she got through.
She was through, wasn't she?
She was through the line. I think she was surprised that she actually got the other side of the English defence.
It's like she'd made the decision to pass it
before she got there, but brilliant bit of play from them. Let's see if they can finish it off before the half.
Well, the clock is red. But from the penalty decision, Canada are opting to scrum it. Miller.
Leave it 9, go back 9.
Leanne Riley's been told to get back. Canada try and break. Good tackle from Rachel Burford, putting her body on the line. There's another advantage though. Anais Holly, she's gone for a chip through again. Tessier's chasing it, and Tessier grounds it. It's a try for Canada. Warm applause from the crowd at Doncaster. They worked hard for it and deserved the reward.
Yeah, it really did. Mo's already highlighted what a fantastic build-up play that was, using all of their athleticism, using all of their skill set, and then again with penalty advantage, it's an absolute shot to nothing. We see it all of the time. I didn't know whether they'd gone a bit early in terms of moving it wide, but yeah, great kick. And as soon as that ball is bouncing on the ground, we all know a rugby ball can go anywhere, and it's just a great chase. You chance your arm a little bit with stuff like that, and Canada will be really pleased going into half-time having scored that try.
Our second try in 18 appearances for Alex Tessier. He's been doing a fair amount well in that inside centre channel for Canada. And now can Brianna Miller add 2 points without any of the conversions going over from England? 15-7, just an 8-point deficit at half-time. Would not look too bad at all from the visitors' perspective.
I think what it also shows is just what can be achieved when you just have that sustained pressure.
England started their run up there. Oh, the kick is good. Harvey goes short. Canada did send a couple of longer kicks through that first half, but the couple of shorter ones they did send did cause England a few more problems, and they nearly had the chance to win them back as well. So that was obviously the thinking from the start of the second half. As Riley gets it away, or miscommunication between Davis and Hunter, then it goes out to the back, trying to see if either of the teams has made any changes at half-time. Canada looked to have brought on Sarah Svoboda. Clearance kick downfield from Harrison. Taken in by Allery. And away on the support line is Sabrina Poulin. And Harvey throws it down. Canada a little bit guilty of going backwards before they go forwards here. Still with possession though. Canada still with possession through the try scorer Tessier out to the left, and Allery cutting back. That's really nice work. And then the good support line comes from Dalika Menin.
Advantage 2-row.
If
Advantage red.
Vicky Combra's just taken a little bit of a knock to the chest. It's a penalty to Canada.
2-row away.
Mark Davis, the one ping, the Worcester hooker.
Great start from Canada, defended really, really well, good exit from England, and in the first half we saw them couple phases and they kicked straight back down into the England's backfield. This time, like I said, wanted to see them run a bit more. I think that must have been the chat at half-time, but keep hold of the ball, play the phases. They've just got a penalty on halfway, kick down. They're on England's 22 now, just purely by keeping hold of possession, and some great work by Allery as well. So fantastic start to the second half by them.
Yeah, continuing the work that they were doing towards the end of that first half. Picking up where they left off, I should say. Laura Russell, Toronto Nomads, made her debut against South Africa in 2011, and well, I think plans in place from South Africa to start putting a bit more emphasis on their women's rugby.
Leave it red. Yeah.
Was loose, and it's been well turned over by England. Hunter
Come back.
sets it up for Riley. Riley wants a little bit more protection, but he's going to ask the forwards to take it up, which Poppy Cleal won't need a second invitation to do. Harrison hasn't found touch with that. Sabrina Poulin is getting the call inside from Allery. England up in defence well, which meant Gabby Senft couldn't just make the immediate offload, but then the gap started to open up anyway, and now Laura Russell in loose play enjoys coming onto the ball again. Then Tessier. This the sort of rugby, well, that earned Canada plenty of yards upfield and eventually yielded the try towards the end of the first half, but they've just got isolated and held on to, so England will have the penalty, and Harrison comes over to put this one into the corner. The sun is just above the row of trees over to the left end.
So you're on the line, Red.
Love to see that renewed intent from Canada in terms of that second half, keeping hold of the ball, taking the English players on. But if they're going to do that, they've got to make sure that they're getting numbers to the breakdown quickly, because you've got players like Marley Packer, Hannah Bottoman that are going to be all over that ball if there's a slight sniff.
Ball goes to the back to Abby Scott. Harrison, ball nicely out in front of her, and it's allowed England really good front foot ball to send Poppy Cleal onto it. Another good run, Kath O'Donnell. Riley away to Harrison. Atwood a little deeper here. Looks at the option inside. Wrapped up in the tackle by Poulin. Packer, oh, she couldn't hold on to it. Saw the advancing tackler and took her eye off it. Allery spots a chance to kick it forward. Doesn't get too much depth on the kicks, but it's actually quite a nice angle over to that right side. Wasn't so much cross field, but just spotted a bit of open territory, and our Canada in a position to try and turn this over. No, England have done really well. Riley spots a chance to snipe. Natasha Hunt will like the look of that. Davis up over the halfway line. Riley gets herself back. It was a little loose between Bottomman and Hunter. Sarah Hunter will turn around and do what she does best. Take the contact, present the platform. Harrison looks for the little chip through. Harvey will gather it. Has Poulin offering herself in support to the right, but Harvey loves a bit of open water, but that's a superb tackle from Lucy Atwood. Brilliant follow-up on Magali Harvey. Harvey must have thought she was away. Just seems to have lost that little yard of pace that made her electric in the last year or two. Brianna Miller. Oh, wow, that was an uncharacteristic error from Sarah McKenna. She won't want to watch that one again.
No, she won't, but I tell you, someone who will want to watch it again, Lucy Atwood. What a shot, absolutely sniped Harvey, and we know how dangerous she can be when she gets going. She can absolutely motor, so brilliant tackle by her. Again, unforced error by Marley Packer. She'll be disappointed with that, and look at that shot, the timing of it, how quickly she gets her to the floor. Just brilliant, textbook.
Bind! Set!
It wasn't the easiest ball for Miller to take. Riley got a hand to it, so there is a knock-on advantage being played. Miller will go back to her right. Miller goes again. Oh, and Miller's gone herself here. Needs the support to arrive, which it does. And Harvey happy to step in and play scrum half.
No, you're not on the ball, Black. What was that?
Harvey just lofts it over the top.
Release! Tackle!
Canada growing into this game, just looking more and more comfortable on the ball. Penalty to them, and they opt to go quickly. Miller gets the call out wide into the hands of Marie Thibault. Gets it away.
It's okay, open play.
England not offside because it's open play. Thibault again. Oh, she's just knocked it forwards in the tackle. England will have the scrum, but there's just a growing belief in the Canadian side.
Yeah, Canada now just starting to get their offload game going. However good your defence is, if the attacking side against you is getting in behind you, getting their arms free, having those runners flooding through, it's so difficult to defend. But as you see there, Poppy just comes through, slots that weak arm, dislodges the ball. That's how you defend it. You've got to put numbers to it. You've got to go target the ball. Yeah, great stuff both sides.
England regroup.
Okay, let's go.
Just momentarily, couldn't see if anyone was getting attention. Sorry, Mo, go on.
No, we spoke pre-match about that experience of Rachel Burford, of Sarah Hunter coming back into the starting team, and you just saw there both of them got the whole team around, probably telling everyone just to settle, pick up those offload runners, make sure we keep hold of the ball when we get the ball.
Set.
Let's see how they manage this next period.
Riley needed a long pass left to right, had it in the locker to get rid of. Allery, oh, she's looked for a little chip there, but executed it poorly. McKenna, and she's got Millie Ward loitering on the outside. Ward well tackled in the end in recovery from Sabrina Poulin, but there's been a high tackle call from the referee, so England had the advantage. Sarah Hunter presents it for Riley. Riley with Harrison waiting. Coming through the middle, Cleal, lovely pass from Poppy Cleal, Atwood, and they get it up for Abby Scott. Advantage is over. Scott stepping back, Burford on the outside, looking to try and set Kelly Smith away on that wing. Kelly Smith, who's got her hair in bunches, and momentarily I keep thinking it might be Jess Breach, but she's not in the field.
There was no line break
She's not. She's watching at home though. She is watching at home. Brilliant play there. Abby Scott, I don't know why she didn't hit Kelly Smith on that. Kelly Smith has proved time and time again what a flyer she is. She has scored some unbelievable tries this season that she has had no right to score. One last weekend as well. So if I was her, I'd have been screaming for that ball. Lovely hands from Atwood as well to get into those wide channels.
Okay,
it's really starting to open up now.
Good discipline now.
What do you reckon, backs ball?
Was that a hope there, Emily Scarrett, that it might be backs ball? Abby Scott brings it down. England get a real shove on. Locke Davis is at the back, as she has been for a couple already. Goes down over the line. Is the ball on the floor? Referee says Canada have held it up. And you can see how happy the visitors are with that decision.
It was your player going to ground to get the ball, and Ace held it up.
Cindy Nellis managed to get herself underneath that. Look at her, just sat there. That's a great shot. You've tried to score in my lap, and I'm not having it.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a try held up like that before in my life.
Me neither. What a treat.
Crouch!
What a treat.
Bind! Right. Just too much movement. Okay. Your one's not ready either. Okay. Just hold that weight. Oh, I know she needs to get a better shot. Just patience on the call now. Get some good shape now. Crouch! Bind! Set!
Plenty of pressure on England here. Coming in from the Canadian 8, and they are getting a decent shove. England are going to have to pick. Sarah Hunter does, down the short side. She's been buffeted back into her own players.
Away now, red!
They go low again.
Stay. Onside, red, onside.
Sarah Hunter for the line. Just stopped short. England trying to roll their way around the corner. Cindy Nellis in there again, making the hits. Inch by inch, England patient enough. They know they've scored 3 like this, or in similar fashion at least. Russell trying to get herself out of the way. Under the left hand upright. Canada have defended several of these phases, and they're going to continue to try to do so. Referee well positioned. Will England consider the base of the posts? The ball
has to be the base of the post. It was up here.
Was in there.
It's an unplayable scrum to black.
There we go. You can hear the referee saying the ball was unplayable. Well positioned. I think England tried to score it halfway up the posts, which is not quite what you're meant to do.
But they said you had to touch the post.
Yeah, well, on the base of the post.
Yeah, it has to be at the base.
I think we should emphasise.
Again, really, really patient work from England. You can see that arrowhead formation, so they've got ball carrier, 2 people either side, so as soon as that initial impact happens, they've got 2 people to basically shove you through that contact, which is really, really effective and very, very difficult to defend. I know they've come sideways, but they've made quite a lot of ground every time they've done that. Great patience.
Set!
They've got McKenna waiting out to the right here with Millie Wood. If it's going to come back, it's a big shove again from Canada. England are not getting this their own way.
290, reset.
It'll give Sandro Fiorino,
no,
the Canadian coach,
not for me,
some real confidence going into the next 3 games. Of course, they've got 4 games in 10 days, which I mentioned earlier. It's a tough old schedule.
290, I have to reset.
England A on Wednesday in Cobham. Then they play Wales next weekend at Cardiff Arms Park, and an early kick-off, 11:30, and then Canada play Scotland on the 27th. Of course, with the sort of funding that these teams get, internationally speaking, if you're making a tour to Europe, And you may as well knock off a few teams in the short spell that you might be there. So it'll be a real experience for them. But this their first test. And Canada get the penalty off England's scrum. It's a huge moment for them. After all that pressure and possession, they couldn't quite cope, and Hannah Bottoman has been adjudged to have not coped with it and collapsed. So Canada get the penalty. Question is, has Alex Tessier got the boot to get them to the touchline they need? Don't think she's going to worry too much about distance down the try line. She just wants to make sure she gets it over the whitewash. Plenty of air on it. Harvey's waiting for it to try and tap it back in field. There's a decision to be made here. I think we're getting some change as well. That will be Hannah Bottoman's last bit of input, which will not be the positive note she'll have wanted to end the match on. But Shauna Brown comes on, debuted in this match a year ago, the Harlequin. We've given her a couple of mentions. Darren Finlay at Quins has been helping with that transition from back row to prop. Little contemplative rub of the chin from Hannah Bottoman. She's contributed well in the rest of the game, just giving away one penalty. We shouldn't focus too much on. Some great carries.
Yeah, it's always what happens if it's the last, if it's your last involvement before you get subbed. It's really difficult to see past that. But she's had a fantastic game in the loose and really, really carried well, tackled well. So she should be really proud of her performance today.
Canada have nicked the line, or it was tapped back on an England side, but then Canada came through and took it. Quick ball away, all but now it's in the hands of Abby Scott, who immediately sits Gabrielle Senft down.
Advantage over.
Poppy Cleal's taken a bit of a knock. Rachel Burford, Atwood, looks to try and use the feet. Combination in the midfield, help Marie Thibault. She is strong defensively. That's what she's been picked at 13 to do the job of, and Canada turn it over again. England have to release it. It's the sort of moment in the game, sort of momentum, that if Canada can start playing this sort of rugby at the other end of the field, well, anything could be possible in terms of the result of this game at the minute. And England haven't been in a position under this sort of pressure for quite a while. Worth saying, of course, they are still 3 tries to 1 to the good, but Canada putting up a good defensive fight. Mrs. Harvey will look to try and do players on the outside when she can. Sarah Hunter was very happy to flatten her on that occasion. Well, the ball was absolutely walloped away there from Anaïs Holly, perhaps unnecessarily. Wasn't the most sympathetic of passes. And in their own 22, Canada hand it to England. Cleal goes low, takes a couple of them on. Hunter for company.
The advantage over.
The advantage is over. They now come back to the left. Burford for Kath O'Donnell. Oh, O'Donnell was close, but she's in touch before she's over the line. Should it have gone for one more pass?
It looked a little bit like it from here, but we're a long way away from that bottom corner. Breathless phases of play. Canada had the ball, England had the ball, Canada had the ball, England had the ball. That was really, really tough, and it takes players just to take one big last gasp of energy, give everything they have. We saw Poppy Cleal making a massive indent through the middle and all of that. Yeah, fantastic defence from Canada there on their try line. They are not giving up. We saw it with that scrum turnover, with that penalty. They are really, really digging deep now. It's all about mentality for them. It's all about just, you know, taking pride in that shirt that they're wearing.
Don't sit on the fence, you should have straightened and passed. I'm sure Marley Packer will pick that up with her later.
So England make a change. Katie Daly-McLean comes onto the field. Cap number 101 to go with all of her Dalmatians. Scored a brilliant try last week to cap off a wonderful evening against the USA.
She's been going on about it all week as well.
Has she? Just unstoppable, isn't she?
For me, it's perfect timing to bring someone like Katie Daly-McLean on.
Do you think she might be on slightly earlier than perhaps they might have been planning?
Yeah, potentially, but I just think the game's lost a bit of momentum for England at the moment, so they just need somebody to get a foothold, kick the corners, make sure that the game management is right on top form, and there is nobody in the world better than game management than this girl at the minute, so really good substitution, really good timing for me.
Canada line out.
Step.
England have been told to get away.
In the 5.
Canada drive it away from their own line.
Yeah.
Holtkamp. The ball has been lost, and it's been lost forwards. Little smile from Brianna Miller. Well, now might be a chance for Katie Daly-McLean to have a bit of an influence from that fly half channel. England with possession coming.
I imagine the first thing she's going to do is get the ball out to the backs, knowing Katie.
13.
Wouldn't be surprised if we see Kelly Smith go through on a bit of a line. She's been a real strong runner. Oh, the reinforcements are coming now.
Well, they are. Poppy Cleal is making way.
Time out.
Coming onto the field is Jo Brown. Loughborough Lightning, former Darlington Mowden Park, joined this season, of course, switching clubs as did Katie Daly-McLean. Also onto the field is Caris Williams, who's come on for Lucy Atwood.
Set.
Another one of the Loughborough Lightning stable. Play the England under-20s, part of the England Sevens development as well. But here's Daly-McLean, and looks a little deeper for Burford, and Burford. Oh, but it's been an interception. Canada streaking away. Elisa Allery always in such a good position, and the chase is on, and spurring her on. Kelly Smith making the chase, but Allery's going to get there, is she? What a brilliant breakaway try for Canada. Emily Scarrett, arm in the air like she was cheering home the 420 from Chepstow, hoping that Kelly Smith would make that tackle. She made up the ground.
She made up the ground, and that is a fantastic chase, but how smart is that finish? Just that little check at the end, you know, that's all of Allery's experience. She might not have had the legs that Kelly Smith has. Just great reading of the ball there.
Well, you thought it was going to Millie Wood, didn't it? It looked to all intents and purposes a try.
Yeah, 100%. Allery just reads it so well. You know, she's been around the game for such a long time. And here, as you can see, she can see Kelly come in. She knows that she's not got the legs, but then it's just that little stop, little go. Checks Kelly. Both players are absolutely dying at that point, so that is a really, really tough and smart finish. And now we've got a game on.
It was a great foot race, wasn't it? Brianna Miller is the one who steps up to take this one. Swings the right boot. It's not going to quite get there, no matter how much she arches her back in hope. But indeed, game on. England 15, Canada 12. Elisa Allery's 16th try, taking her up to 80 points for country.
They're really, really tough blows to take those for the England side, because they were essentially doing everything right. They'd played it up front with the forwards, they'd worked the ball, they were now moving it into the wide channel, so they don't want to get too disheartened by that, because actually, in terms of what they were doing and what they were trying to achieve, it was exactly the right thing.
Well, actually, yeah, and you saw Katie Daly-McLean combine with Rachel Burford in the build-up to that, which just looked vintage. It looked so comfortable, didn't it? Seeing those two combining together and then finding the ball out to the wider channels through McKenna. It looked on.
Ripped by Red, first person.
But Canada have ripped the ball here. Red Roses really up against it now. The momentum very much with the visitors. It was with them. The momentum was with them in their own 22. They had a lot of territory to make up. Elisa Allery did that in about 10 seconds flat. England with it now, though.
Backwards.
Katie Daly-McLean with the offload to Jo Brown, who loses it, but backwards, says the referee. So England have it. Kath O'Donnell. Riley. Daly-McLean comes to the right side and calls for it. Wants to try and use a bit of the footwork. She's so powerful as well as a fly half. Has to be the leading 10 in the women's game worldwide these days. Katie Daly-McLean. Riley pulls it back deep. Daly-McLean drills it. Wants to pin Canada back a little deeper and allow England's defence to come forward. Allery just stepping away from Cornborough to begin with. But then getting Canada wrapped up in the tackle. Miller goes off to the right, need the clearance to be made. That was a little better from Holly, but Daly McLean really well positioned for that. And then a great offload from the fly half as well, supported by a half-back partner in Leanne Riley, and then Sarah Hunter. And just a couple of phases involving Daly McLean that are giving England a little bit more go forward. Abby Scott onto Kath O'Donnell, wants to avoid being isolated here. Penalty might be coming. Well, called it, and it was brilliantly won by Cindy Nellis.
Isolated 8 straight on the ball.
Lovely bit of play by England, really patient again, keeping hold of the ball. Great exit by Katie Daly McLean. I talked about her coming on the field for this game management now. Brilliant play by her, absolutely struck it as hard as she could down into the midfield. And then just a really good bit of play by Canada, getting over the ball, nice and strong. Couldn't be moved. England just need to make sure that they're sending numbers. Their tendency to get a little bit isolated at the minute. I think players are a little bit tired out there potentially, but fantastic steal.
So Kath O'Donnell leaving the field, and Yorkshire-born Zoe Aldcroft began her rugby at Scarborough. Her parents, Ros and Dave, and her brother Jonathan will be going to be proud as she comes on, earning her 8th cap for England. And change being made for Canada as well. Tyson Bukaboom leaving the field, and Galula Fawamba makes her way on. Her only previous cap was in this match as a debutant years ago. Fawamba. Dalika Menin. Anais Holly scragged by Rachel Burford. Miller.
Go back.
Now looking to try and drag England wide into those 15-metre channels. Committing to going the same way until they cuddle up right to that touchline, Canada. Or then it's just gone forwards from Tessier. So England now have it. Riley pumps it straight back for Daly McLean, who kicks it downfield. Game management the key here. England know they're 3 points to the good on the scoreboard. Canada win it back. Tessier crucial in there to help deter the England defenders there. Shauna Brown in, try and get herself in there and hold Canada up, but the referee calls it the tackle, so everyone's got a release.
Assist release. Stay on.
Down from Miller. Daly McLean has McKenna streaking up underneath this one. Good contest in the air. Canada have done well to hold on to possession here, and now they're looking to try and use some room on the outside. Unsurprisingly, Slavinsky didn't back herself for pace against Millie Wood, but they've still made some decent yards. Tessier. Penalty. England will be just the relief that they need.
We're going to keep going.
So England
Time off. 9.
Putting it over to the far touchline.
Hold it for a second, we're still waiting.
They will look to try and build from there.
There's another player. 10.
Now,
10.
we're going to give you the chance, listening and watching, I should say, of having a vote on the Quilter Internationals player of the match. We'll give you the short list of 3 selected by Emily Scarrett and Natasha Hunt in just a moment, as Abby Scott brings that down. Straight into things is Joe Brown. Off Daly McLean. Fly half back in possession, releasing Rachel Burford out the back, who finds Millie Wood.
Good turnover.
Turnover is good again from Canada, though. They've been really good in certain situations at the breakdown. Fuamba with the fend on Marley Packer. That was worth the entrance fee alone. Bit of empty space kicked into. Daly McLean, well tackled by Svoboda. But it's a penalty.
20, roll away.
It's been given against Svoboda. Made her debut in this match a year ago. Well, let's just have a look at the shortlist of three then. Natasha, who've we gone for?
Leanne Riley, Abby Scott and Lark Davis.
Okay.
All three standout performances for me. Leanne has been so good, got around the field so well, challenged the Canadian kickers, defensively has been really sharp and has bossed the game, so fantastic play by her. Abby Scott and Lark, very similar, just put their bodies on the line time after time after time. Abby Scott's, some of her handling has been fantastic, some of their shots have been brilliant, and Lark Davis's line out work has been fantastic as well. So yeah, there are three.
Those are the three. Well, thank you. So get voting onto Twitter then. We'll have that for you. Hashtag send her victorious for our player of the match. Leanne Riley, Abby Scott and Lark Davis. Marley Packer is breaking and trying to send Rachel Burford through the hole. Burford gets in a good position to present the ball back. Aldcroft, England's bench, really hoping that they can provide the difference. Here's Shauna Brown, so strong, gets to within a couple of metres. Aldcroft's there again, looking to try and take that last few inches. Referee says that England are just short. They come to the short side. Riley on the wing. Is it going to be the score for Kelly Smith? She had to be strong to avoid getting dragged into touch by Harvey. Smith gets England's fourth and might just give them a chance to sigh a breath of relief.
She might look little, but what strength that is to finish that try. I mentioned her earlier, said she's scoring tries that she has no right to score, and this is no different. Really wide pass, great hands by Rachel Burford, and for all money she should have been dragged into touch there. Absolutely fantastic finish. Kelly Smith, take a bow. She must be knackered as well after that chase back, so to still have that power in her legs after doing a length of the pitch from the opposite corner.
Yes, quite.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Well, I remember commentating earlier in the season on Gloucester Hartpury, and Susie Appleby's words were she's a powerful winger. Exemplified in that finish. Didn't have too many yards forward that she had to make, but to avoid that touchline and the strength of Harvey to try and drag her into touch was the impressive bit. And Daly McLean has not made the sort of conversion attempt that is normally of her high standards. So 8-point game we have. England 20, Canada 12.
Also that pass from Rachel Burford, I mentioned it a few times how world class she is, her handling ability, but the ability to catch the ball, reaching for it, get that across with an on-rushing defender 2 metres from the line is just so difficult. So hats off to her as well. That's potentially her try. The wingers just get all the glory, don't they?
I'm going to have to sign her up for my touch rugby team, I think. Rachel Burford. Pretty handy, I think.
Such a good impact as well from players like Zoe Aldcroft, Jo Brown, Caris Williams, all these girls coming on fresh into a game that's, you know, really tight. It's a tough game to come into, and they've come in. Zoe Aldcroft in particular just carried the ball so well. It's crucial to that try.
Come in with real belief, haven't they?
Yeah, 100%.
Allery hoists it up, puts the pressure on Riley. Riley gets the call from McKenna on her shoulder. Pirouettes through the tackle, but Allery does bring her down. She's had a good game for Canada, hasn't she? Sarah Hunter. Just a reminder, those players on the shortlist: Leanne Riley, Abby Scott and Lark Davis for your player of the match. Get onto Twitter, we want your votes. You can interact with us on hashtag #CenterVictorious. Fuamba bringing down Burford. Riley coming through. Laura Russell looking to try and make the clear out. Sarah Hunter. Loughborough Lightning combination between herself and
tackle release red, no hands,
Katie Daly McLean, who just takes a little bit more depth here as Marley Packett gets set to play scrum half, and feeder. It was a great feed if she was going to do a drop goal. Now Magali Harvey throws it back in field. What can Canada create from the back? Millie Wood has done really well coming in field to cut out any option of the pass there defensively from England. Otherwise Canada might have had a 4-on-2 perhaps. Riley, Brown, good offload from Jo Brown. Gets herself low as well to get out of the way of the next pass. Rachel Burford was on the shoulder of Sarah Hunter to give her the call, and then swatting away the tackle is Millie Wood. Couldn't quite go all the way. Riley though wants to go to the right. She was looking for her fly half, but Katie Daly-McLean was the only one there, but that's a good mazy run from Sarah McKenna.
14, leave it now, you're not on the ball.
Gets the support. Allery has just stayed down for a moment. Hope that she's all right. Abby Scott, Burford, still in the thick of things. 80th cap for Rachel Burford. Just making herself ever present in the last 10 minutes to really rub it into Emily Scarrett and Natasha Hunt that they haven't mentioned her as one of the players of the match. Fellow Rugby World Cup winner from 2014, of course, winning against Canada in the Stade Jean-Bouin Stadium. Lovely chip through. Burford's got a chase on this as well. It's just bobbling tantalisingly in front of the try line. Elisa Allery, incredible ability to have just held on to that. Avoided the on-charging England shirts. Laurie Josephson is on now for Canada. It's a decent box kick over the top, but again in position. Katie Daly-McLean. McKenna just shrugs off one tackle. Now it opens up for Sarah McKenna. Comes back into the centre of the field to make sure England have got options left and right. Riley goes digging, finds Daly-McLean. Scott, now they go through the hands. Sarah Hunter, is it going to be another one for Kelly Smith? Just stopped short on this occasion, but England threatening for another. Daly-McLean, little step to keep the defence honest. Shauna Brown comes onto it. Brown twisting and turning.
Leave it, move.
Like before, she stopped a metre short.
Okay, stay where you are, 5.
Daly-McLean has Burford out to her right. And they've told Millie Wood to get as far wide as they possibly can, but they're not going to need it out there because England get another score. It's try number 5. And for as well as Canada have competed, England will have looked to have sealed the victory with the score. Abby Scott looking like the scorer.
Yeah, brilliant work by Abby Scott, but again Zoe Allcroft over the ball, adding the extra bit of power, really dragging her over the line. Fantastic play by her, and as Emily mentioned earlier, such an impact that she's made.
Yeah, she's been great since she's come on. She's so athletic, such a good rugby player, and just works so incredibly hard. A lot tougher, you know, so tough for quite a young player. It's really good to see. The great thing for me is that came from England just turning the screw, applying pressure. Katie Daly-McLean putting that little grubber kick through, making Canada try and play out of their own 5-metre line. England have the scoreboard on their side, so it's the sensible thing to do. They squeeze Canada again, and it results in another try.
Voice of Emily Scarrett and previously Natasha Hunt with us for our live streaming coverage on englandrugby.com and the official Facebook and YouTube channels, and through Sky Sports Rugby as well. Sarah Hunter makes the carry out of the 22. England leading now by 27 points to 12. Katie Daly-McLean. Leanne Riley, I think, has made way for Claudia McDonald, who's earning her second cap on a talent transfer from netball. McDonald was playing in the back 3 for Darlington Moden Park Sharks last year, doing a decent job. Scott Beeman, one of those who had a look and thought she might make a decent 9. And she's on, plays her rugby at Wasps, but Canada with the ball, play it away to Ronnie Harrigan. Oh, that's lovely hands. Oh, commentators curse again. Slavinsky was the last one to try and hold it. was nice, soft, quick hands up to that point.
Okay, no advantage
But England
going
will have the
backwards.
scrum,
Go back here.
and they'll happily see that it's ticking down through the last couple of minutes of the game.
Slavinsky's been really good for me today. Tackled really well, been great in the loose, and been a real link play between the forwards and backs. Such a good player.
Yeah, just earning her 4th cap for Canada. Another one who debuted in this game a year ago, former Calgary Saracen, also plays a bit of lacrosse.
Smart play as well there from Millie-Wood. We've spoken about how she's not naturally a winger. We've seen her come out and make some big shots, applying pressure, not letting the Canadians get the ball to the edge, but there she knows she's numbers down. She knows she's got to back off. Let the Canadians take a bit of space, but just kind of shepherd them, make them move the ball to touch. It was really well managed.
Yeah, you wouldn't know this is her first game on the wing at all, would you, internationally? Great game from her.
Hold down.
Burford, McKenna, wasn't the easiest ball for Smith to take. She was well met for the tackle.
Tackle!
England on their 22.
Didn't survive.
Half a minute remain.
Go back, leave her.
Not the easiest ball for Katie Daly-McLean. And she chips it forwards. Sabrina Poulin.
Not held. Good turnover.
Turnover by England. That was really well done by Aldcroft. She's enjoying playing in front of her Yorkshire crowd, isn't she? McDonald is there, but Shauna Brown was happy to play scrum half. Katie Daly-McLean up to the halfway line. McDonald looking to the left. Lovely little soft ball back inside for Sarah Hunter.
Not held. Release red.
McDonald, Burford, look to chip it through. Our clock has gone red, but we're on the referee's watch at this point. Canada looking to try and break again. Got to release it on the knee. Now they come back a little deeper.
Advantage.
Fitting that it might be Canada who are the last ones on the ball trying to put stuff together. Oh, that's really lovely from Svoboda. Great footwork from the replacement. And then Josephson wanted to show what she could do around the fringes. Rachel Burford's barely got the strength to get back to her feet, but she's still running and still making the hits.
Tackle!
Packers calling the numbers over to the far side. Canada have flooded about 4 or 5 down the 15-metre channel if they can get the ball there. Taylor Black is one of those onto the field, the Oakville Crusader, making her debut for Canada. Just back from the Youth Olympics.
Going back to the penalty.
Well, we put out the 3 names for the player of the match: Leanne Riley, Abby Scott and Lark Davis. And I'm pleased to tell you that we have counted your votes and they have been verified. I'm saying that's happened, I'm not entirely sure, but with a brace of tries, the Quilter Internationals player of the match is England's number 2, Lark Davis. So many congratulations to Lark.
Yeah.
Exemplifying the forwards effort.
Yeah, she really has done. Worked really, really hard around the park. She's been just fantastic. Her lineouts have been really strong this week as well, and just her work rate for me is so impressive. As a front row, I know sometimes I get a bit of stick for not running too much, but she's got around the park so well. She's added so much force whenever someone else has carried the ball. She's carried well. She's just been absolutely solid today, so thoroughly deserved for me. Well done, Lark.
So Canada still going into the corner. Can they get another score? Just a reminder, our clock is our best estimation. We don't get a clear timer on this one. So, oh, that's really good strength. Canada could be through for their second, or their third, sorry. Has the ball been placed? Sean Gallagher says it hasn't.
No, go back, Black.
Options to the right. Taylor Black.
You can't come over the line. Try.
Oh, and the try's been scored.
Yep.
Try has been given. Canada get their third. Referee was right on the spot to, well, I think he had to judge that inch by inch and say that England weren't able to do anything to stop the ball being on the whitewash.
Not really sure how that's managed to be a try from there. It doesn't look like it comes out of the ruck at all. So I'm not sure what's happened, but you could just see from the English girls' faces how disappointed they are in that. I'm not sure whether the time is actually up or not, but just they know that this game is potentially done. I think if this clock's right, then there is no time for the kickoff, and they're so deflated at the fact that they've let somebody over their line. So it just shows the will that they have to want to be better, to want to just nil teams.
Magali Harvey asked to step up for this one.